Well, good morning. Welcome back to GP Outdoors. We finally got a good old Canadian winter. We got about 14 to 16 inches of snow, and it's about negative 25 outside. And the sun's high in the sky, so it's going to be a beautiful day for working outdoors. Today, we're going to do a comparison between the rear 3-point hitch snowblower and a mid-PTO front mount snowblower. So grab a coffee, keep warm. Let's head on down the driveway and check these things out. Cheers. Okay, so we're going to do some auger shots. This area here that I just showed you is 10 inches. I'm going to do the front, then we're going to do the back. And what we want to look at is how fast it's spinning, but I also want to listen to the engine noise and the RPMs to see as I'm digging through and I'm cutting into it, whether the back or the front drops the RPM or the throttle sound. Let's check it out. Cheers. Okay, we're down the driveway a ways down into the forest. Wanted to see how far these things can throw snow. Stick around. Cheers. Okay, I couldn't resist. Well, that was kind of interesting. Made it through no problem on this side, but I'm not sure it's because of the weight behind the B2601, but you could only make it in this far, as you can see. I mean, cut through it well, but maybe it was too heavy to push. Anyways, interesting test. Let's get together at Guy's place. Hey, morning, Guy.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good, good.
Good.
Done your testing on that machine?
Yeah, I just finished it up.
How did it work?
Well, it's pretty good. Both blowers are great pieces of equipment.
Which one do you like best?
I'll tell you in a minute. So I got my list. Actually, I made a few notes because I did a lot of different things out in the driveway with it, and then took it down the road and got those great big piles from the snowplow off of the concession. That was interesting. But
no surprises in there, right?
No, I didn't. I didn't find anything I shouldn't in there. But they both worked really well. So I just kind of had a few comparisons before we finish up today, just to share with you. But yeah, so I think one of the first big components of this is the cost, because the rear mount is about just under 50% less than what I had to pay for to get that front mount. And of course the front mount, as you know, has a big drive shaft with it. It's got the subframe that you've got to put on and all the additional pieces. So definitely rear mount by far is a lot cheaper.
Okay.
A couple other things, I think some obvious ones clearly, which I wish sometimes I could have, is with the front mount, you can't have your front end loader on, right?
No, that's your command.
Yeah, exactly. So at least with the rear mount, you can take it on, take it off whenever you want, put other attachments on. You've always got your bucket or a plow or whatever you want on the fell. But with the front mount, because of the subframe, you can't leave the subframe on. So it's not like you can just unpin the front blower unit and leave the submount or the subframe. You have to take the entire thing out in order to get the fell back on. Mm-hmm. So I think for a lot of people that would be a big consideration. So removal, of course, as we said, the rear mount comes on and off easily. It's a 3-point hitch, whereas the front is although it's probably a lot easier than it might have been 10 years or 15 years ago, with all these quick attach things, it's still a lot of work in negative 25-degree weather.
Yes.
A couple other things with them. They both have adjustable skid shoes, which is great. From a cornering perspective as well, the nice thing about the rear snowblower is that when you're turning a corner, you get a much sharper, I guess, radius into that corner, because with the front blower way out front of the front tires, when you're taking a corner, it's almost like you're arcing around the corner because you're swinging it sideways as you go. Whereas with the back one, it cuts right in as soon as you turn.
That's what I found with mine, is that rather than doing a sweep, I had to back up and keep cutting the corner to get around to it.
Exactly, and that's the same thing I do all the time on those corners, because otherwise I can't get them in deep enough. A couple of last things. They both have optional hydraulic chutes, so that's you can get it for both either, which is good. The one that I had here, obviously the housing is much taller and a lot bigger mouth on it, so it can bite into a lot more snow if you have it. And then I think lastly, the big thing is, from my perspective, is if you've got a long driveway or a lot to plow, it's pretty difficult spinning around looking backwards, I got to tell you. And and even just what I was doing this morning is you've got to spin right around in the seat. It's not, you don't just look over your shoulder, you've got to turn your whole body around to see both sides of it.
Sort of right side saddle.
Yeah, and I think as you were saying before, if you're plowing close to a house or a building or a car, you're watching both ends at the same time.
Well, when you start to swing with the back, that front is swinging way out.
Yeah.
And I found that a little nerve-wracking if I was close to something.
Yeah, so anyways, other than that, it was a really good test. They're both good units. They both chew the snow. They throw it a far distance. So I think at the end of the day, depending on your property, the type of driveway you have, or what type of application you need for it, that would decide whether or not you get a rear or a front mount, right? For me, obviously the front mount hands down because I got a long way to go. So.
Yeah, or it'd be literally a pain in the neck to do your driveway backwards. Whereas forwards, you can relax and you're seeing exactly where your blower is all the time, and your steerage.
Yeah, no, good, for sure. Yeah, so a couple of, I guess, preferred setups a few folks had mentioned from the last video is a lot of folks like the front plow or the front blade and the rear snowblower. And that gives them a chance they can plow into piles and then blow it out. So that's pretty cool. And I think, you know, my setup I think is great for my driveway with the rear blade on the back. So if I need to scrape it, I can. And then I just blow forward.
Works
So
well.
anyway, so I think we're just about wrapped up. So for all you folks that are watching, thanks for sticking around today. I hope it was helpful and informative. And as I mentioned, the point of the video was not to figure out which one was best, because I think the determination of which one is best all depends on what you've got and what your property is like and what you need to do with it. So with that said, thanks so much for sticking around. If you like the channel, click subscribe, hit the like button, and click that little bell. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful week with your families. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks a lot, guys.
It's interesting.